Welcome back to Making You Video Your Business.
Welcome.
Everyone's business. You should make it your business. Video's not going away, is it, Chris?
Not that I know of.
No.
Not
There's
that I
all these new AI threats, but they're not really threats. They're sometimes efficient, depending on what you use it for. I mean, we're talking AI with regards to video.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't quite nailed it yet. There's a lot of
Not yet.
generative fill with like 8 fingers, and
Yeah.
like I saw one this morning of someone had created an e-bike Olympics.
Oh yeah.
So basically, they'd made out that most people who ride e-bikes are slightly overweight, which is not true.
I saw an incredibly.
But one guy had 2 belly
terrifying
buttons.
Oh,
because
gross.
AI couldn't
Yeah.
figure out that humans should only have one.
I saw a terrifying video where AI tried to generate a ballerina dancing, and it was
Oh,
like something out of a horror movie.
was
It
it?
was awful. Yeah. So yeah, it couldn't work ballet. So
Yeah.
go and have a look for that.
Yeah.
So today I want to talk to you about video, obviously.
I want to talk to you
about video. But I wanted to ask you about Roy.
Oh, our friend Roy. Everyone's
Our
friend Roy. Yeah.
Otherwise known as
Return
ROI.
on
Return
investment.
on investment. So when you're making video content, right, there's
we
2
do.
types of return on investment. There's a financial return on investment, and there's a return on investment of time.
Maybe
So,
3.
or is there a third one?
Maybe increased exposure,
Oh, well, that's increasing. Of course, yeah.
which
increased
is
exposure.
measurable with some metrics,
Yeah.
but is slightly more invisible than
Yeah.
pounds, pence,
Yeah.
and shillings.
So let's talk about the 3 top Roys.
Roy?
3 top Roys. 3 top return on investments that you can get from your video content. So let's do them one by one.
Okay. Number 1.
So number 1, how can you see a good return on investment of your time?
Basically, you can create something called we refer to as evergreen content. I mean, this is one of many answers, but by making a video once that's generic enough that you don't mention specific names, dates, times, places, you can actually repurpose this video, even if it is mentioning, say, like if you did a Keir Starmer video about new government in power.
Evening, Prime Minister.
Good evening, Prime Minister. But obviously, everyone's fully aware, trying to build 1.5 million homes over the next 5 years using grey and green belt, and there's some great ideas in there, and it really seems like it's one of their big driving policies they want to drive forward, which is great for the property market, I guess, in general. But time-wise, if you'd made a piece about that, say, a couple of weeks ago when he got put into power, and he made about the Starmer surge, maybe in house building, like you can actually keep posting that video maybe once a month, because if your predictions or your opinions on that deemed or became true, then you can use that as a piece of authoritative content where you can say, hey, look, what I said 3 months ago, it's true. Also, FAQs, very popular in our world, making video and content for estate agents and letting agents, is, again, that can save you time by not fielding questions on the phone so much, because you can field the question once, send out a video that's rewatchable. So yeah, many ways. I mean, I don't know, you can think of any time-wise in terms of...
Yeah, time-wise, I think the key thing is to make sure that you don't just look at video production, however that looks for you and your business, as a cash expense. You have to also think of it as a time expense. Because it's all well and good saying, okay, well, if we get a company in, or, we employ someone to make video stuff in-house, it's going to cost us X pounds, shillings and pence, right? But actually, what is the cost of your time to be making stuff, and how are you going to sweat that asset and really squeeze all the juice out of that lemon? Because the issue is that people often focus on the financial, but they don't focus on the time. So say, for example, you've got, you hire in a freelance camera guy, whatever, to come and do you some stuff. And it costs you £1,000, whatever, to get a person in. But then it takes you 5 days to plan that content. It takes you all day to shoot it. Then you've got maybe a day of going back and forth with changes to get the editing right, how you want it, whatever. That's actually cost you 7 days of your time and a day of theirs. So you're now looking at 8 days. So what is the true cost of 7 days of your time? And what could you have been doing instead that could have been better for your business? And actually, so you have to quantify the time. It's a bit like when you do a timesheet, when you have your first jobs or whatever, and you clock in, clock out, and you almost have to keep a record of how much time you've invested as well as the money. That's really important, because often when people are talking about ROI, and they talk to us all the time and say, oh yeah, well, what am I going to get for my cash? And the number one thing is when people use us, not that this is an advert, when they use us, they're like, what do we have to do? And I'm like, tidy your office.
Well, we do a
That's
lot
it.
of legwork for people if they require it, but
Yeah.
yeah, the time thing is like you said, even the planning,
Yeah.
like researching, gathering article ideas or headline ideas to chat about on
Yeah.
so said
Well, we're going to talk about
videos.
planning in another video. But yeah, so that's really
Let's.
important. How you can get other return on investment for cash. Yeah. So cash for me is the number one because people go, okay, well, it's going to cost me X. How am I going to see that a return on the financial investment?
Yes.
So how would you say, I mean, it's more of the same, but how would you say people can see a return on the financial investment?
Yeah, I mean, this one in particular is one, wouldn't say a stick that every supplier gets beaten with, but often businesses are intrigued as to if I'm going to spend, say, £1,000 with you, what is my ROI on that? But
Right.
it's more the fact that when you're talking cash, I believe you've got to manage expectations by giving yourself a bit of a grace period, like maybe 3 to 6 months,
Yeah.
because look, some videos can go viral. We'll talk about viral videos and this chap we found in America in another episode. But point being is that unless your video just for some reason captures the interest of the whole of TikTok or the whole of LinkedIn or whatever, then it's going to take a while, a bit like a sales funnel. It's going to take a while for views to accumulate, for people to engage with your content, people to become aware of your brand because they're seeing it on their timeline all the time. So quite often people will get, and we do manage expectations, but quite often people will ring up and ask us for a day and say, well, when will the videos be ready? And what do you think will happen? We're like, well, probably nothing. Have you even got a YouTube channel? Have you got any subscribers? Like, place videos on your website? Have you got any other social channels? And if the answers are generally no, or, oh, I think we set up a YouTube a while ago, then you really got to get all your ducks in a row first before you even consider making any money from these videos, I think. And sometimes people are like, oh, video seems popular at the minute. Let's get some done. We'll make loads more money than we are now. Now, we know a couple of our ex-clients and people we don't even work with that have seen a huge return on investment. Like for every £1 spent, they're getting a fiver back. That's massive. But this has taken these guys at least 6 to 12 months, I'd say,
Yeah.
before they're seeing any hard financial
You
return.
can see some immediate returns. You know, we've seen that with some clients where they've had no content, and so the uptick is wild. You know, because you
Yes.
effectively go from 0 to 100,
Mm.
and you can get huge SEO benefit, and obviously that can cut AdWords spend, and so there's a reduction, there's a saving there. You know, and we've seen people jump on
Well,
Google from from either not being on the first page to going to the first page, being sort of low down on the first page to becoming sort of 2 or 3 in the
mm,
organic listings
mm.
without any additional spend after their video stuff.
And
And
that's
I think
because
that's
video
because
content on the homepage, right?
yeah, because it gives you a good SEO boost and it gives you a natural listing. You know, Google likes media-rich websites, so it
Yeah,
gives you a
yeah.
boost. So that's a true test of ROI, I think, from making or buying any video
Mm.
stuff. I think that's a massive deal for people. I think you can also see good ROI from the financial investment by actually sweating that asset. So you know, utilizing things again. And you were talking about evergreen content
Mm.
earlier on in the episode, but what's important isn't just to have stuff that you can repost. It's stuff that you do repost.
Mm.
You know, stuff that you, if it is relevant
So
and
like an
doesn't
area
date,
guide.
area guide,
Say you have 3
perfect.
area guides made in over the course of 2 day shoot, drones up, presenter led,
Yeah,
yada yada.
yeah.
How often we're posting
Yeah, I
those?
mean, for me, an area guide that's relevant to your local area, I would post the same area guide at least once a month, at least once a month,
Mm.
and then I would vary, and I would have posted it across all of my channels once a month. But I would vary the times of day and night. It might even post it twice a month, but post it once, you know, in a morning time on all my channels, and once in an evening time on all my channels
Mm.
to try and catch different people. Because, you know, as we always say, people aren't all on the internet at the same time.
Just about to say
Chris and
that.
Matt, people aren't on the internet at the same
Babs
time.
and John are on a cruise.
Yeah, because people, have different work patterns or the shifts and stuff. So getting that ROI, it comes in many, many forms, you know, because what we want to do as a business and what every other business owner wants to know is if I spend that, what will I get back? And the best metric is Seth Godin, who's this incredible marketeer in America. Purple Cow. He's written loads of books, but he said, "Oh, I know that 50% of my marketing works. I just don't know which 50%."
Yeah, I mean,
and I think that's the key.
yeah.
That's the key. I think it's being aware that posting something once won't see you that return. It's about posting it often and widely that will, and that leads into a ROI, around social channels. Which social channels are going to be good for me. Well, it's difficult to know. Depends on your tribe, depends on the people who you are trying to sell to. If you're trying to sell to younger people, Instagram, TikTok. If you're trying to sell to older people, Facebook, LinkedIn.
Yeah.
YouTube's great as a house basically. Think of it as your
free storage,
and distribution platform. Yeah, you'll get some views harder, but that's it. But you need to be sweating your asset to get that return on investment.
You do, yeah. And also because people are internet savvy nowadays, and whether it's influencers, followers, different accounts, people they might not even ever meet, but they are engaging with them, or they are interested in what they say. You get the iceberg effect, don't you? Where go, oh yeah, well, he's popular and he's making it work on YouTube. But say like Mr. Beast, for example, most subscribed to, I think, still YouTuber, 220 million subscribers, I think, which is bonkers.
A few more than us, that.
Yeah, just a couple. Yeah. But he started reposting some of his original videos because they still live on his YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And it's taken him 10 plus years. Same with the How Ridiculous Australian lads, 10 plus years to get famous, popular, making money out of their channel. Now, I'm not saying every Tom, Dick and Harry who owns a business, or every, sort of
should change that to Tom, Dick and Harriet, just because it's...
Yeah, they should do.
Do you know what I mean?
Make it more inclusive.
Yeah, I think so. But anyway,
I'll start using that.
Tom, Dick and Harriet.
But don't expect that if you're a butcher's, a baker's, or an estate agent on the local high street that, you start making video month one, you're going to have like 220 million subscribers, or even 5 subscribers, or even 50. Like, it takes time. You've got to give people what they want. You've got to learn what people are wanting from you as a business owner. Do you want to give content? Do you want to get content? Like, as in, you always say about 80-20 split. Like, yeah, I'm aware you sell houses, you're an estate agent, but what are you doing for me?
Yeah.
Like, how are you making the home buying process easier, making the selling process easier? Are you garnering me with information
that's if you're an agent? If you do anything else, it's different.
Of course, yeah. I would not suggest local butchers trying to sell your house, but
no.
The point is of course that this is an ongoing process that you've got to want to buy into, you and your team, to make it successful.
I think ROI it's a long-term investment. And I think the key thing is that when you're investing time or money in video content, which you should definitely do, in some form or other, because that's the way the world is now.
Yeah.
The key thing is to think of it as a long-term investment, like an ISA or stocks and shares. Not think of it as a quick punt at the bookies on the 3 p.m. at Southall.
Yeah, and you've hit the nail on the head there. It's an ongoing investment. You should treat it like you do any other business cost. It should become, in our minds anyway, it should become one of your fixed costs. Like, again, don't see it as a cost, see it as an investment, but a continuous one. And we can't guarantee anything in life apart from death and taxes and Frankel, he used to say.
Death,
racehorse
taxes,
that
Frankel,
never got beat. But so it's I think it'd be silly to think that you're gonna crush it financially within 3 months of starting video.
So top 3 tips then to maximize ROI. Go.
Be patient. This is not a silver bullet technique that's going to make you a millionaire overnight, but what it will do is it'll start to drip feed lots of stuff into your business, cash. It'll give you time back eventually.
Yeah.
2 is interesting content, or content that's interesting to the people you're trying to attract to yourself. Good friend of ours always says, if you go on a date and just talk about yourself, you're not going to get a second date. Whereas if you're more interested in the person you sat opposite, chances are they're going to be interested in you. So genuinely think about what potential future customers might want to hear from you.
3rd one,
repurpose content. That is the biggest time and cash saver you'll probably come across in a video game. Is you've made it well, you've made it interesting, keep using it.
Great. Thanks, mate.
Thank you, mate.